This is John Moeller with Get on the Track. I just wanted to provide a video describing the reference points that I use when I'm driving at COTA. Visibility is obviously, or vision rather, is obviously a key component of driving. And one of the things that I focus on with my students is getting their vision as far down course as possible. This provides a number of benefits, one of which is the ability to process the information that's coming in at a rate that avoids having them panic. It provides, by looking further down course, you have more time to assess the situation and create a logical approach to it, versus looking very close in front of the car, say 50 or 60 feet. You don't have time to process that information, and it honestly becomes valueless. So when I'm instructing at COTA, I give people reference points that are further down the track to guide their vision further out and make it a calmer, smoother, and more enjoyable experience. That said, I'm going to do a quick lap or show a quick lap of COTA and call out what I'm looking for. So as I'm coming down the front straight, I'm looking to the top of the hill, and also kind of getting an idea of where that apex is, which is just behind the numbers board. And so I keep my vision up there, and that's kind of guiding the direction that I go with the car as I keep the car on the right side of the track. This isn't the ideal lap, but as I come up here, I'm looking left and I'm focusing on that apex right here. And actually, at this point in time, you can recognize the orange apex marker. Obviously, you don't want to hit that. It can really upset the car, but I want to bring the car close to that on the back side of it. So I delay my turn in a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and clear that. From there, I start guiding my vision around. And what I'm actually scanning for at this point is I'm scanning for the gantry that's back and over my shoulder on the track, and looking for the electronic flagging marker that's in the center of that. Just kind of a good reference point, and it's really guiding my vision and forcing me to start thinking about bringing the car back down the hill, back down the track. So looking left, I've moved my vision well beyond the apex at this point, and I'm looking ahead, and then that comes into view. So these electronic flagging stations are very useful. They're placed at certain points around the track that are great in terms of reference markers and guiding that vision further ahead. So this is the first of many that we'll see throughout the lap. So that said, looking there, and as I start coming down the hill, I start shifting my gaze through the apex of turn two, down and to the right. And then as it starts to open up and it comes into view, I'm actually looking at the outside base of the bridge, which is over here. And I move my vision there, and that brings it up and out and further down the track. So looking ahead, looking through that corner. Coming through, bring the car down close to the apex, bring the car back out about 2/3 of the way across. Now, as I'm running up to turn three, what I start looking for is I'm actually looking for the first point of white paint after it ends for a little while. Now, granted, there's a white line that extends along the left side of the track, but the first significant white block, like what we have on the right sides, that is what I'm looking for as I start turning the car in. When I see that appear on the track, that's my indication that it's time to start turning the car, start moving my way left across the track and head for the apex of turn three. So that'll come into view more clearly here in a minute. Boom, there it is. You can see clearly that white spot. Now, I'm not aiming for that white spot. What I'm aiming for is I'm aiming for the apex. You can see it here. And I like to take a little chunk out of that apex on the left side. Just run those left-hand tires over that rumble strip on the left-hand side. As I transition through turn three, I start focusing my gaze out, and I actually like to use this flagpole over here as a good reference point. Now, granted, I'm still continuing in a straight line, But that flagpole, as it comes into view and I set up on that apex for turn four, it's kind of a good sight line to just direct my eyes and consider carrying a straight line or as much of a straight line as possible through the S's. So we'll see that here shortly. So I've got that vision up and ahead, looking at that flagpole, letting it rip. Boom. Good stuff. Now, as I'm coming through here and that flagpole is straight ahead in my vision, I'm shifting my vision to the left and it's getting more and more hidden, but I typically use this gantry on the left side as my focus for guiding my vision through turn five. So it's my frame of reference through turn five, letting that car come through. And then as I've sighted on that gantry on the ahead of me, I shift my gaze to the base of the gantry on the right-hand side. I know that my apex is about 15, 20 feet off of that gantry, but I use that as a visual reference to guide my eyes to the right side of the track and look ahead. And as I'm coming through turn six and that starts coming into view, I let that car run out wide. And then I'm looking here and I know I want to get down to the apex on the right-hand side. So I'm looking here, but I'm also guiding my gaze ahead and I'm scanning for the next electronic flagging station, which is going to be on the fence line here. So I'm guiding my gaze to that fence line and looking beyond that. So we'll see that electronic flagging station come into view. It's actually quite a ways down the fence line, but it's just a good reference point for me to be looking for what's next. So coming through, get down to that apex, boom, there's that electronic flagging station that I mentioned. And again, it's quite a ways down that fence, but that keeps my eyes up, forward, and further ahead. Now, as I start getting ready to transition into turn seven, again, I use these frequently. There's another electronic flagging marker out here, that black rectangle, and I'm using that to guide my vision up the hill. It's a good point of reference, a good way to keep that vision up. So getting ready to set up for turn seven, I'm going to move the car track right, and then I'm going to be looking through that apex, but I'm looking up that hill to guide that vision to take in as much as possible. So from there, we get down to turn seven, and boom, again, now I've got that electronic flagging station that's in view. And from here, I actually am starting to guide my vision up and further up towards the grandstands here because there's another electronic flagging station up on that right-hand side. So we'll see that come into view shortly as we come through turn eight. Rolling that gas on, letting the car track out all the way wide to the right side. Again, this isn't a perfect lap. I would have my car further over to the right-hand side. Bending in here, I'm guiding my vision up and over that hill, and that flagging station is going to come into view right here. So delete that, let it run, looking up that hill, still looking for that electronic flagging station. And again, it's right here, guiding my vision up and over that hill. Now, as I transition through turn nine, I can focus on the bridge for a little bit. So I've got my gantry here, but that's not really where I want to shift my gaze. What I'm really looking for is my turn-in point for turn 10. And again, I'm looking ahead, keeping my vision soft and focused as far ahead as possible. Scanning, and I'm going to show you my turn-in point for turn 10. Let the car wash out all the way to the side on the right. And as I'm coming up and applying the gas on the screen out towards the green pavement, the next place I'm shifting my vision is I'm looking towards the end of the barrier on the left-hand side because that's where my magic marker is going to come up or my magic reference point is going to come up. I absolutely love this reference point. Keep looking ahead. Now, very shortly, we're going to see the 250 brake marker appear on the far side of this fence. Letting it run, boom, there it is. It comes right into view. I'm going to go ahead and rewind this for a second just to show you what it looks like as you're coming over that rise. I find this to be incredibly useful because the timing of it is spot on. Most people use this entry road on the side as their turn-in point. I don't like that because it's guiding your vision off the track where you don't want to be. By looking ahead and looking for that 250 marker, I've got my vision where it needs to go. I'm looking where I want that car to go. So again, very quickly, there, right there is where that 250 marker comes into play. I'm at the point where I'm seeing that I'm right next to the turn-in point that most people use, but I've got a better visual indicator that's further down the course and guiding my vision. So as soon as I see that, that's my indication to start slowly turning that wheel in to get down to that apex at turn 10. So there's my 250 marker. And from there, I'm starting to shift the vision further down the course. And I'm always looking at this crest here because I know that's pretty much where I want to start turning that car in and using and getting the car to turn for turn 11. All right. So as I come down here, got another electronic flagging marker. Boom. Now coming through here, I'm shifting my vision all the way to the left. I'm looking through this corner, and what I'm scanning for and searching for is the next electronic flagging station. So unfortunately, the field of view here isn't wide enough to be able to pick it up in this video, but I am scanning that vision left. Many people use the A pillar of the car. When the A pillar aligns with the apex, they use that as their turn-in point. I like that idea. It's a good frame of reference. But coming through, I'm guiding, boom, there's my next electronic flagging station. So I pick up this right here. That's what I'm looking for. And I use that as my next focal point or my next point of reference to guide that vision down. As soon as I pick that up and I'm getting the car to start tracking out to track right, I'm looking all the way down the straightaway. Letting it rip. Boom. Looking down that straightaway. They used to have a Ferris wheel that you could look at that was down here, but they no longer have that ride, unfortunately. So basically, just guiding my vision down the straightaway, setting up for turn 12, staying on that right side, trail braking in. As I come around turn 12, as I'm coming down to the apex, I'm guiding my vision up and to the left. There's going to be a light that I look for, a light pole. That's going to guide my vision and guide the direction of the car. And it just came into frame there. So I'm now looking for this light right here that guides my vision across. And I want to try to line the car up on the left side of the track about at the beginning of that white. And that sets me up for a nice straight run into turn 13 along the left side of that pavement. So moving left, looking at that lamppost and considering that first section of white over on the left-hand side. From there, letting it go all the way up to turn 13. Coming into 13, I'm looking right as hard as possible or as far as possible, and I'm actually looking for the roller coaster that's out by turn 15. This is relatively new, but right here, I'm now looking for the roller coaster, and I'm actually typically looking for the right side, the right end of that roller coaster. Another good reference point that I really like to use. Coming through, boom, heading straight for the right side of that roller coaster. That actually bends me out a little bit wider and sets me up better for turn 15 than what we see on this lap. So I would be bending right, getting out to that outside a little bit more. And then here, I'm actually looking for the next bridge or gantry on the left side through turn 15. Scanning, 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 and then boom. That's my bridge right there that I'm looking for, and that guides my vision through there. Now, for the carousel for 16, 17, 18, honestly, what I'm doing is I'm scanning all the way through. I'm looking to the right side, to the right barrier, and just following my vision all the way through here, scanning all the way through until I see the next flag station on the right hand side. Now, this is just kind of a long, drawn out corner, but I'm just making sure that my vision is focused all the way through this corner. So those eyes are up and I can see what's happening all the way in front of me in the track. So that's all I'm looking at. I keep looking around that corner. I'm fighting with my vision. I'm not letting it stagnate. I'm just letting it move as the car moves. And I keep looking for the edge of that fence. I'm almost fighting to try to see around the edge of that fence what's coming up on me. So keep moving that vision forward. Keep looking as far ahead as possible. Keep going, keep going, keep going all the way around. I'm still scanning ahead, looking at what's ahead of me on the track. And then as I come through here, I pick up that next electronic flagging station and I'm looking for that. I might let the car come out a little bit wider here, but I do want to move the car back to the right side here to set up for 19. Now, speaking of setting up for 19, as I'm moving through here, 19 is another blind corner. You can't really see much beyond that fence as you're pulling in, as you're setting up in your braking marker. There's nothing to really see there. But if I pick my vision up a little bit higher, I'm going to start seeing it looks like they're starting to build some grandstands out here. And then I use this as my reference point out here. So I'm looking out there and I know that's where I want to ultimately end up with the car. So that's where I move my vision to. So scanning through, that sets me up nice and smooth. Boom, I run it out to the track edge on the right side, looking at that building. It's a great reference point that they just added. All right, gas on, moving out to the right side, setting up on my braking marker. Now, again, as I'm looking through turn 20, I'm scanning for the next electronic flagging station, which is going to be on the outside of the corner. That guides my vision to the outside of the track and keeps me from accidentally focusing on that inside wall, which some people tend to run out and run into. So electronic flagging station is going to be on the fence line. And I'm having a hard time seeing it here, but it's right around there. Again, video is a little bit too grainy to catch up on all the detail, but I'm keeping that vision down, looking at that electronic flagging station. Let's take a look and see if it's a little bit clearer now. I think it is right here, but that's guiding my vision out, getting me to track out with that car, use the full width of the track. So again, I feel like that's a great point to sight in on. Tracking out, boom. And I may have been a little bit off because there it is right there. So that's my lap of COTA. That's what I'm using for visual reference markers or visual references. That's letting me keep that vision up high and further ahead. And that's giving me plenty of time to process what's happening out there on the track. Hope you guys found it useful. Let me know in the comments.